Welcome back, everybody. My name is Zank Rappa, and I'm playing a little bit of Vintage Story. In the last video, I made this charcoal pit, which I think is done. So that means we are about to enter the Copper Age. Very excited about that. So why don't we dig this up? Yep. So that's done. What we're going to do now is dig up as much of this charcoal as we can. Well, actually, I'm not going to dig up all of it. I'm just going to leave it here to store it for now. I don't know if we're going to have enough space under the shed here. But we're going to dig up some of this. Okay, so we've got our charcoal. So what we're going to do now is make a little fire. And I don't have any logs. Let's go grab some firewood real quick. Got some firewood going on here. I'll just throw that all on there. And we're going to light this up. Fire is lit. What we need to do now is grab our crucible. Bam. Throw that in the fire. Do I still have my copper? No, I don't. Let's go grab that copper. Oh, wait. I'm dumb. I made this whole thing, and I still keep going back to there to thinking that I left everything inside. So we're going to grab 20 pieces of copper. There's 20. That'll make us one pickaxe. So we're going to throw that in there. What I'm going to do is let this burn down, and then I'm going to throw the charcoal in there to get it just hot enough to burn up the copper, or melt the copper rather. I'm going to put my mold here so that it's ready. And last thing I need to do is grab my tongs. Put these in our other hand. Logs are burned up, so I threw the charcoal in. This needs to get up to 1084 degrees Celsius in order to melt. Looks like we're well on our way. What I'm going to do now, I'm actually going to pull the rest of this charcoal out because we didn't need quite so much. I couldn't remember how much I needed. I'm going to throw this back in the pit. Oh, I can't throw it back in the pit. I'm going to throw this, actually, I take that back, in here. And, oh, look at that. We have a vessel full of molten copper. So we're going to grab this, oops, grab this, and pour it into our mold. This will take a little while to cool down. While I was waiting for this to cool down, I dug up the rest of my charcoal. Got us almost a stack. That should keep us going for quite a while. Right, so our pickaxe has cooled down just enough that we can pull it out of the mold. It's still going to be pretty hot, so we can't touch it. We're going to need to use the tongs. And what I'm going to do is throw it in some water to quench it. That'll cool it the rest of the way down. I think you can kind of cheese the game a little bit and just throw it in the crafting table with a stick to make the pickaxe, but I don't like doing that. It feels a little unrealistic. So let's grab a stick and... ta-da! We have a copper pickaxe. I'm very excited that we found one, or we made one so early. Let's put that down. So what I'm going to do now is head over to the spot where we found all that copper. Actually, I need to make another shovel first, because I'm going to need to dig up some of that clay as well. Right, so we got ourselves a brand new shovel and a copper pickaxe. Let's head over to where we found that copper before. It was right underneath this clay, if I remember right, and I set my waypoint for that. So let's dig down. Hopefully we're digging in the right spot. I'm actually really glad that we found this under the clay because we can simultaneously dig some clay and get some copper. We're going to make a whole bunch of tool molds that we're going to use. There it is. So it's medium quality, which means we'll get decent amounts or decent yields out of it. Let's see how big of a nugget we get. So it looks like this is 20 units of copper, which is what I'm going to go ahead and do off camera now is dig up the rest of this, and we'll see how much we get in total. All right, we're back. I mined up all the copper underneath this vein. And I realized as I was mining that I sort of screwed myself over because while we have a ton of copper, we can't actually use it yet. I don't know if you can see the tooltip down there. It says crush with a hammer to extract nuggets. I neglected to make a hammer, and I don't think I have enough copper back at the crib to cast a hammer. So let's go double check that. What I might need to do is go run out into the world and see if I can't find a few more copper bits laying on the ground. If we can't do that, what we might have to do is sift some gravel and stuff in order to find some copper nuggets. What do we got? Nope, not in here. Yet again, I'm going into my house instead of my workshop. Yeah, so I only have 15 copper, so I'm going to throw these in here for now. We actually got quite a bit. So we got 2 crystallized chunks of native copper, so that's 80 units of copper right there. And we've also got those other 2 nodes that we can hit up later. So what I'm going to go do is try to run around, find a few more copper bits, and hopefully we'll be back with just enough to make a hammer so that we can process what we just mined. That's a bear. Do I risk trying to kill a bear? Is it worth it? I'm probably going to die. Let's go for it. Screw it. All good hits. Oh, he's tearing us up. This is not... Oh, okay. Yeah, that's why you don't mess with bears. That was foolish of me. Let's run back to where I died and go grab the rest of our stuff. Alright, we're back here. I'm going to try to sneak up and get the rest of my things. I'm going to grab these spears that I left on the ground. I don't know why I'm trying to be quiet in real life. He can't hear me. Can we get our stuff? Oh yeah, we're good. There he is. I feel like taking revenge. I don't know. Is that stupid? Probably. Let's go for it. Nope. Maybe that's a sign that I shouldn't mess with this guy. Okay, we pissed him off. I don't know why I keep trying. I can't hit, and he's running away, but I don't know. I'm taking it personal. Oh, he's tearing us up again. He's so fast, too. He got me. Alright, I'm back. I got my things. I don't know where that bear went. I want to try to look for some more copper bits. Maybe I'm being too greedy. Maybe I was being greedy with the bear. Found some onions while I was out wandering around. This is where we found that copper previously. I'm kind of hoping that I maybe missed one. I actually, when I respawned, I was down by the trader where I found that copper in one of the other videos and found one bit that I missed. So maybe I get lucky and I find another one like that. I don't see anything down there. Found some rye. That'll be useful for later. So I'm wandering around and look what I see. Granite cobblestone. That means there's probably a ruin underneath here. Why don't we dig that up and see if we can't find anything cool? Dug around a little bit, didn't really find anything interesting, but that's just a small taste of what you can find out in the world. There's going to be bigger ruins that we can find later on. I also see there's some sand here. That's going to be pretty useful later because we might want to start making like wattle and daub walls. That's going to be a pretty cheap and well, I take that back. Not very cheap because I think it's sand, dirt, and straw that we use to make wattle and daub, but it looks nice. We might use that to build some things, but knowing that there's sand over here is pretty helpful. Okay, now this is cool. I was wandering around still looking for copper, and I happened to stumble across this ruin with a ladder. I'm a little scared to go down here. It looks pretty spooky, but we're going to try it out anyway. Let's put our torch in our other hand, and we'll climb down. Oh man, what is this? I don't really see a whole lot. Oh, it looks like there's chalk in a box here. Oh, look at that. Copper, but it's not really super useful because it's still not broken up. But at least we got a little extra copper. Maybe if we break this cracked vessel, we'll get something. What is that? Galena, that's lead. Man, we're running out of inventory space. I'm just hoping I get those native copper bits that I need. Nah, man. Didn't get super lucky with that. Nothing. A little bit of aged firewood. Anything else? What's up here? Man, this place is pretty decrepit. Check this out. A lantern, a Jonas part, ruined fence, and a copper scythe. Man, that is a pretty bountiful haul. So I'm actually going to drop this peat, grab a lantern. I don't really need that galena either. This broken axe, we'll get rid of that too. Maybe I could come back for the rest of this stuff because I really don't have the inventory space to carry it home. I hear something. Heard something kind of clicking. That might be one of those different types of drifters. Is there anything down here? Looks like the water's flowing somewhere, but I can't tell where exactly. Let's head up here. Nothing. Yeah, man. Well, this place is spooky. I think I've had my fill of being down here, but I'm really glad we found that lantern. Those are pretty difficult to make. They're sort of a later game item, but they're a permanent light source. So you remember how those torches that I was using, those burn out. Lanterns don't do that, which is sweet. I learned these guys are called Bowtorns. They're not technically drifters, but they're enemies in the game, so I was calling them drifters. We're gonna just get out of there, and maybe we'll get lucky on the way home and find those last bits of copper that we need. Right, well, I started starving to death, so I had to head back, which just in time, I suppose, because the sun started going down. Before I head off, I think what I'm going to do is take this hoe that I was carrying around unnecessarily and plant the rest of these seeds that I picked up while I was out. Oh, check that out. So I was wandering around at night trying to find something to do, and I found flax. Flax is an incredibly important resource. It allows us to make fiber, which allows us to make cloth. Or rather, it drops fiber, which allows us to make cloth. So I'm going to pick those flax fibers up. And I think what I will do is drop these right in our little farm so we can get those growing. There we go, got our flax planted. Alright, sun is rising, and I took the time to make a whole bunch of clay molds for things that we're going to need once we start forging copper. I made a couple of ingot molds, an anvil mold, a watering can, a shovel mold. I made that axe mold in one of the last episodes, a prospecting pick, and a hammer. So let's go ahead and get a pit kiln or 8 going for these. Okay, got everything in their little respective pit kilns. Let's go ahead and get some grass and sticks and everything. I'm actually going to go ahead and use this scythe that we found in that ruin. This makes collecting grass so much easier. Alright, sweet. I was wandering around looking for copper after I got some peat for my pit kilns, and I found this. So now we have enough to make ourselves a hammer to actually use the copper we mined from before. So I was running away from a bit. Oh, good lord! Okay, we're getting out of here. I was going to show you a cool ruin, but not anymore. Oh, he's chasing us. Oh, I'm trapped. I'm done for. Oh, maybe not. Oh, man. Oh, I really want to go check out those ruins that I just found, but maybe that's going to have to be a project for a later date. I want to put those on the map, though. I'm going to put the waypoint just kind of here. That'll get us close enough in the future. Oh, back home. Home sweet home. Let's go ahead and put this peat down and get these pit kilns going finally. There's all our pit kilns lit up. I think in the meantime, what I'm going to go do is... Oh, there's a rift. Cool. While these burn, because I can't really do anything with my copper until the hammer mold is done, I am going to go back and check out that ruin where that bear was. It's probably not smart to go back right away, but I really want to see what's going on over there. I have a feeling that that would be a really cool spot to build. It might even be a cool project to try to restore the ruin back to something, back to its former glory. Yeah, this looks pretty sweet. It's like a castle or something. What I ought to do is chop down all these... Oh, there's that bear. Okay, we're going back. I think what I'm going to go do is head back to the house, drop off some of this stuff, grab a couple of axes, because I can chop down some trees, which will help our firewood situation. And it will also let us see the ruins better. Right, so I grabbed some gear. I made an axe. Actually, I made a few axes. And one thing I want to point out about this one is The handle's white. Why is that? Well, I used bones for the handle, which increases durability. So this one has a durability of 70, whereas the ones made with sticks have a durability of 60. Not much, but every little bit helps early on. So let's head back to the ruins. So I don't see where that bear went, but I'm going to go ahead and take a risk and start chopping down some of these trees to see if we can't get a better look at what we're working with here. That's a bear. I'm going to back away slowly from him. I'm actually getting really sick of being accosted by this guy, so I'm going to cheese him a little bit. I'm going to tower up and hopefully I can get him with all these spears. And he's running away. Okay. Well, if that gets him out of my hair for now, that's good enough for me. I'm going to continue clearing this brush. No, he's back. Okay, that was foolish. I was foolish. Oh, we got to get away. We got to get away fast. Can we lose him through here? He's right behind us. Oh, jeez. Come on, come on, come on. I guess I'm running back home. Oh no, he's gone. Okay. I really got to get over myself. I need to stop messing with these bears and deer and everything that... they're worse than drifters, like I said. I don't know where he went, but... Oh, there he is. Let's try this again. He really doesn't seem to want to attack me unless I'm close to him. If I can just run him off, that would be good enough for me. But I'm scared if I head back over there, he's gonna turn around out of nowhere and kill me. Anyway. Oh man, look what I found. So I was just clearing some trees out, and it looks like there's a dungeon underneath this castle. Why don't we go ahead and hop down there and see what we can't find? So it looks like we found a joiner's table blueprint. I don't really know what this is. And oh, fire clay. That's going to be super useful later. I don't know if it's enough to do anything, but... And a torch holder. Okay, so this is really important because what this does is when you put a torch in here, the torch never burns out. So I'm going to clear up some inventory space and grab this. Got it. Not a whole lot to see down here, but it makes me wonder if there's more rooms underneath the rest of this stuff. That would be pretty cool. There are some cracked vessels and things that I saw around that probably contain some useful items, along with bony soil. Bony soil is useful because you can pan it, and usually you get some decent stuff out of it. Nuggets and little odds and ends like that. Anyway, I cleared out a lot of the trees and brush and stuff around here, and why don't we go through and see what we're working with. So it looks like we have a small tower-looking thing here, maybe a guardhouse of some kind. That's pretty cool, not super useful. Whatever this is, some kind of another tower maybe, another room. I can't quite tell if this was originally supposed to be all connected or if these are freestanding buildings. This looks like some sort of main structure, but it's probably buried underneath it here. I'm not entirely sure. We'd have to dig that up. Probably, given that their dungeon was underneath of there. Another wall. I think that might be part of this whole structure. And this tower here. This tower here is really what interests me the most because I think this would be the easiest to turn into a home of sorts. Why don't we bust in and see if there's anything inside. Looks like we got a staircase going up with a seed vessel. I'm going to have to come back for these cracked vessels in the morning. It's starting to get dark. But I'm really liking the looks of this. I think this is going to be a great spot to start building a more permanent base. I know I was talking about building over there, but given that this is here, there's already some material we can work with. I think this is the perfect spot. So I'm going to head home and see if our pit kilns are done, and hopefully we can start working with some copper. Looks like our pit kilns aren't quite done. So what I'm going to do is stack up this wood, and while I was walking back, I realized I don't have a bed, and the reason I hadn't made one yet is because it used to require a hide to make a hay bed, but I just checked the recipe, and if we look up hay bed, we just need 3 blocks of hay. So we can probably make that with the grass that we already have here at the house. And look at that, 3 blocks of hay. Let's make ourselves a bed. Now we can finally sleep. I also need to, before I go to sleep, stack up these logs. One thing that I like to do, and this is just a me thing, you don't have to do this, there's a lot more convenient ways to do it, is for the sake of realism, as if this tedious game wasn't already tedious enough, I like to stack them up like a lumberyard, and I usually do 2 by 2 by 8 stacks. That way I can kind of count visually real easily how much wood I've got going on, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. So now I can tell that I've got 2, 4, 6, that's 48 logs plus a little extra. Again, you don't have to do this. It's just something that I like to do. I think it makes the world feel more lived in. It doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me that you can stack logs in chests and vessels and things, so I do it that way. I'm now going to go make use of this lovely bed that we have here. It doesn't actually set your spawn like in the other block game, but it does let you sleep through the night. Gonna grab a little bite to eat before I go to bed, and I will see you in the morning. Ah, man. Good sleep. Much better than just wallowing away my time in here. I'm also going to go ahead and make use of this torch holder that we found in the ruins. Pop a torch there. Now we always have a source of light. And look at that. Pit kilns are done. So let's grab everything that we made. Alright, so that's everything we made, plus those crucibles that we made last time. So what I need to do now is get this fire going. I'm actually going to use some of this peat that I collected because this gets up to 900 degrees Celsius, so that'll get our copper most of the way there. That way we don't have to use as much charcoal. Alright, so we got our copper heating up. Once this hits 900, yep, 900, we will switch out the peat for charcoal. Alright, so that's almost at 900. Let's swap out for charcoal. I don't exactly remember how much I need to put in. We'll throw in 2, that should probably be good. Okay, so we got our molten copper. Let's pour this into the hammer mold. Pop this guy back down. I think while that cools, I'm going to go mine the rest of that copper because what I really want to do is make an anvil, which requires, 900 units of copper. And I don't think we have quite enough with what we mined last time. The anvil will allow us to forge items instead of just cast them, so we can make a saw and some other things that'll be useful later on. So I'll be back once I have all that copper. Alright, so unfortunately this node and the one over there that I dug up wasn't too profitable. We only got poor quality copper and not much of it, but anything helps at this point. There is another node over that way by the trader that I could check out, but I'm not particularly inclined to head all the way over there. Looks like our hammerhead has cooled down enough for us to pick up, so let's grab a stick, pop that on there. Boom. So now we can process all this copper into native copper bits, or nuggets. There we go, there's that. And let's grab the ones out of here as well. And look at all that lovely copper. Makes me proud to see. So we definitely have enough to make an anvil now, and a few tools. So why don't I go ahead and get that going. Pop this over here. Put this guy here. I think I'm going to make a couple more fire pits just so that I can melt multiple crucibles worth of copper at one time. Because this thing's, it requires 900 units. That's going to take a while to heat up. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. Alright, so this is all the copper we're going to need to smelt up to make an anvil, plus these 4 tools here. I'm going to make another pickaxe because ours is almost worn out. A prospecting pickaxe, an axe, and a shovel, and of course our anvil. So let's get these into the fires. Let me go grab some peat to heat these up, and then we'll get going. Right, so we've got 2 full crucibles. I actually ended up smelting a little extra so that we can fill up our ingot molds and do a little forging. So let's pour these. So there's all our tools and a few ingots hardening up. And there's our last one, so let's go fill up the anvil. I think that about does it for today. We have officially entered the Copper Age, and I am very pleased. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.